I would like now to offer the opportunity to introduce you to our special guest, Ms. Robin Flynn. Robin is not only a cancer survivor, but also a member of Les Amis, and we are truly honored to have her serve as our guest speaker this afternoon. Please help me in welcoming Robin to the stage, or to the podium at this time to say a few words.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Robin Flynn, and I'm a 5-year breast cancer survivor. And I will just add that talking right now is scarier to me than having cancer. So just bear with me. I told myself after having cancer I was not going to live a life where fear controlled my future decisions. That's why I'm speaking today. Also, I am currently a member of Les Amis and am honored they allowed me to share my story today. Thank you, ladies of Les Amis, and thank you for all your fundraising efforts for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life. It is because of people like you that many local cancer patients will receive services such as free lodging or transportation assistance during cancer treatments, in addition to providing funds for cancer research. My story begins in 1990 when my grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer at 67 and died 3 years later. 2 of her sisters were also diagnosed with breast cancer, both being in their 60s when initially diagnosed. So in the back of my mind, I always thought it was possible, if not likely, that either my mother or myself or either of my 2 sisters would get breast cancer one day. If I ever got it, I thought surely I would be older and have had kids by then. Well, my prediction was only half true. At age 35, I was diagnosed with stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma, otherwise known as breast cancer to the layperson. Writing my story for you guys, I began to reread my journal I kept through my cancer journey. On February 23, 2009, I wrote, "Today I found out I have cancer. It sucks, and I want it out of me." That's about how I felt for about 2.5 weeks until I had a double mastectomy to remove the cancer. That was only the beginning of my saga. I proceeded to have 6 months of chemo, lose my hair, 6 weeks of radiation, breast reconstruction surgery, countless trips to the doctor in Houston, labeled high risk continually by my entire medical team because of my age, and now I take an anti-cancer drug which makes me feel like I'm 60 instead of 40 with achy joints and hot flashes. But maybe the worst part is I may never have kids because I had chemo and my age after completing the prescribed anti-cancer drug. Pretty depressing, right? Not so much for me. You see, I see my cancer diagnosis as probably the best thing that could have happened to me. From the get-go, I had this feeling that everything was going to be okay. My cancer journey was as much of a personal journey to heal my spirit as much as it was a quest to cure my body of the cancer. It all began by realizing God provided all I needed along my journey. To begin with, one of my good friends just happened to now live in Houston, Texas, and have a good friend named Pierre, whom worked at MD Anderson Cancer Center. As soon as I was diagnosed, my younger sister quickly contacted my friend, who then called Pierre, whom, by the way, I should mention, not just only worked at MD Anderson, but was a physician assistant for a breast cancer surgical oncologist. What a coincidence. That's exactly the doctor I needed to see. Upon meeting Pierre in person, she proceeded to help me choose my medical team, which was made up of a medical oncologist, a plastic surgeon, a radiation oncologist, and countless members of their support staff. I felt like she was my guardian angel, helping me through this daunting task. When chemo began, I met my medical oncologist. The one thing I remember the most was when she gave me this sheet of paper with statistics on cancer survival and recurrence. Before she handed it over, she explained what was on it. She stopped and looked at me and my sister and said, "Before I give you this, I want you to know this is only what a computer program put together. This is not necessarily you. I want you to know that every patient is different. I was so nervous. I was thinking, oh God, this must be bad if she's saying this. She then told me, after all my treatment, I had a 25% chance of recurrence in 10 years. I said, so I have a 75% chance I won't get cancer in 10 years? She said, yes. I looked at my sister and said, that's not so bad. My doctor looked at me with a big smile and said, I wish all my patients would be like you. Initially, I had 12 weeks of weekly chemo treatments in Houston. On every single trip, I had my boyfriend, family, or friends with me for support. My employer and co-workers were wonderful too. I continued to work throughout my entire treatment, missing 1 day a week for chemo. And when I had to move to Houston to complete radiation, my employer, along with a few specific co-workers, arranged to pay for an apartment I rented. I thought, wow, is this really happening? I am so blessed. November 25th, 2009 was my last day of radiation. My sister Kelly was able to be with me. Radiation was early that morning, so I could go home for Thanksgiving. It was an incredible feeling to have finished this part of my healing journey, but also very scary. I would not be pummeling my body with super poisons anymore. My apprehension stemmed from knowing life was supposed to go back to normal, and I knew nothing about me now was normal. As we hit the road home that morning back to Louisiana, near Beaumont, we saw thousands of geese flying overhead in amazing configurations. It was the most beautiful sight. Kelly looked at me and said, I think it's a sign from God, Robbie. She didn't say it, but we both knew it was a sign letting me know everything was going to be just fine. That day didn't end there. Maybe 10 minutes later, I was pulled over by a Texas state trooper for speeding. I suppose the geese made me lose track of my speed. Anyway, being a cancer patient is a definite plus in this situation. The trooper asked me to get out of my car. I walked around my car with my cap still covering my bald head, permanent marker still visible on my chest and neck from radiation, and my medical bracelet still on me from the morning's radiation session. I handed over my license and told the trooper I was going home to Louisiana from just completing cancer treatment at MD Anderson, and oh yeah, I was sorry I was speeding. Needless to say, he gave me a warning ticket and told me good luck with everything. Yes, I played the cancer card. Later that day, as we approached Alexandria, I noticed a bunch of people on the side of the road with balloons, signs, dressed in pink and acting crazy. Then I noticed it was my family, friends, and co-workers. They are making a scene as people drove by, honking at them. I pulled over and was embraced by all of them, celebrating my completion of treatment. How truly blessed I was. The part I left out is how hard it was for me to accept help during all of this. I was always the person that helped others, not have people help me. But cancer taught me otherwise. It was now okay to not be strong like I thought I had to be all the time. The cancer also taught me to live my life fearlessly, living my life for myself and no one else. It taught me we are put on this earth to be happy and to rid my life of negative influences and people. It also taught me to say no whenever I felt like it and to take time for myself more. Basically, I felt like the cancer saved my life instead of hurting my life. Looking back, the day of my biopsy, when my mom and sister Sandy when myself, my mom, and my sister Sandy left the doctor's office, we were all upset. I remember them saying, "Why you?" I said, "I always knew I was special." Then Sandy quickly corrected me, saying through her tears, "Yeah, but you don't want to be that kind of special, Robin." We all laughed. Today, I can without a doubt say I was right. I always knew I was special. Special enough to open myself to seeing what good can come out of a devastatingly bad situation. Special enough to know I was truly worthy of living a long, healthy, happy life. I'd I'd like to take this time to express my gratitude to a few people in my life that helped me immeasurably, in immeasurable ways during all of this. Keith, you are my rock. You could have left me when I told you I had cancer, us just dating. Instead, you have given up so much for me, knowing we may never have a family. You continue to amaze me with your love and support. Mom, Dad, Kelly, and Sandy, thank you doesn't express my gratefulness of how much you helped me through all of this. Your prayers brought me immense strength and peace when I was so scared I could not think, much less pray for myself. And of course, I'd like to thank my friends, otherwise known as the Real Housewives of Rapides Parish, for being a constant support system of love and laughter during all of this. Today, I told my story in celebration of my victory over breast cancer. Through my faith in God, the love of my family and friends, along with the wisdom and knowledge of my team of doctors, nurses, and support staff, I have conquered cancer. May all others after me ring bells in victory. Through our continued fight, determination, and perseverance, all cancer patients have and continue to inspire. Thank you.